Like, he doesn't think these things through before he tells us. He just tells us what he's thinking as soon as it occurs to him. This shit sounds nuts. I'm gonna go to China and I'm gonna get those jobs from China and bring them back here to America. For what, nigga? So iPhones can be $9,000? Leave that job in China where it belongs. None of us wanna work that hard. What the fuck is he thinking? I wanna wear Nikes. I don't wanna make them shits. What the fuck are you doing? Stop trying to give us Chinese jobs. I am going to bring back coal. Coal? I'm not even exaggerating. I have never in my life even seen a fucking lump of coal. I honestly don't even know what coal is for. If you're gonna have motherfuckers digging around in the dirt looking for shit, find me some truffles, nigga. That's what I'm about. And these truffle prices are getting out of control. If it gets any worse, I'm gonna be back down to regular butter like everybody else. I was in Mississippi doing a show, and I go to the restaurant to order some food. I would like to have, and before I even finish my sentence, he says, the chicken. What the fuck? I could not believe it. Could not believe that shit. This man was absolutely right. I said, how did he know that I was gonna get some chicken? I asked him, I said, how you know that? He looked at me like I was crazy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Now, everybody knew as soon as you walked through the goddamn door, you're gonna get some chicken. There's no secret down here that blacks and chickens are quite fond of one another. Then I finally understood what he was saying, and I got upset. I wasn't even mad. I was just upset. I wasn't ready to hear that shit. All these years, I thought I liked chicken because it was delicious. Turns out I'm genetically predisposed to liking chicken.
There was 100 years of unspeakable oppression again. Lynchings, all kinds of terroristic acts to keep us in the margins of society. And yet we still fought. And Dr. King was born. And then things got better. 20 years after Dr. King was assassinated, Michael Jackson was moonwalking on television. Something, something, something. Barack Obama. Donald Trump, and now here we all are. 400-year nightmare. Took us 400 years to figure out as a people that white people's weakness the whole time was kneeling during their national anthem. That's a brittle spirit. That's right, nigga. On the rockets, regular. Ah! Ah! What are you doing, nigga? Stand up! Fuck you, Dave Chappelle. I said, excuse me? She said, I worked all week for this shit, and this show sucks. In a weird act of racial harmony, a conservative white guy stood up and backed her up. Yeah! The whole crowd band together and started chanting, we want our money back. We want our money back. I said, oh shit. I snapped out of it. Good people of Detroit, hear me. Hear me now. You will never get your fucking money back. I said, I'm like Evel Knievel. I get paid for the attempt. I didn't promise this shit would be good. Boo, they said, fuck you. This went on for a long time. And then after the show, I felt so bad, I took half of the money from the show, thousands of dollars. I said, I'm gonna give this to charity. You know what I did? I bought $25,000 worth of bubble gum and drove around Detroit and handed it out to the homeless so they could chew it and suck masculinity out of that bitch. I was on a plane, and I don't know how this guy got a machine gun on the plane, but he stood up, man. He said, everybody, get on the fucking ground. Nobody look at my face. I started freaking out. Because he was Chinese, I was like, why is he talking like that? He was screaming and crying. I was the only brother on the plane. Well, I thought I was the only brother. I looked over, there was one other black dude. He was from Nigeria. He didn't say 2 words to me. He just looked at me, he was like... He didn't need to talk. I knew just what he was talking about. I looked right back at him. I was like... Some white dudes on the front of the plane seen us. They were like, oh my God. I think those black guys are gonna try to save us. We were just communicating that we understood the situation. We were both seeing the same thing. What we understood was simple. Terrorists don't take black hostages.
And I tried to break the tension. I just asked her, that's all I said. I go, hey, where are you guys from anyway? And I could tell that she was on to me. She goes, very condescendingly, she says, I'm from California. If you're asking my ethnicity, I am Chinese. And her husband was just cool about the shit. He was like, I'm Mexican, bro. I said, well, I'm sorry if I offended you by asking, but you're a very beautiful couple. And miss, there's no question that you're gonna give birth to the hardest working baby this world has ever seen. It's not a bad joke. She got very upset. She got up to leave immediately, but she didn't just leave. She had to take one last dig at me on the way out. I will never buy one of your fucking DVDs again, Dave Chappelle. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, Chinese people don't buy DVDs.
The only thing I know about George Bush Jr. is that guy sniffed cocaine. That's right. Now listen, we cannot have that shit in the White House. That might be fine for a mayor, but goddamn it, not in the White House. Can't have no cokehead president. He be selling nuclear secrets for $20, $30 and shit. He'll be in meetings embarrassing America. Come on, sign the treaty, baby. I suck your dick. Like, what the? Mr. President, that is not how we do business here, sir. Stop sucking the ambassador's dick. No, let him finish. I will sign the treaty. There will be peace in Israel finally.
I used to watch a fucking cartoon when I was growing up called the Care Bears. It was about a fucking group of teddy bear people. They were like teddy bears, but they were like people, and they were all different colors, and they all fucking just walked around caring. They cared about each other and everything else. And when shit got real bad, as nice as those teddy bears were, they didn't get mean faces. They got determined. And the leader would say, come on, guys, it's time for the Care Bear stare. Remember that shit? And them little teddy bears would lock arms and stare at the problem. And I'm not even bullshitting. Actual love would shoot out of their chest. And when we grew up, we wanted to be like those bears. And then we got our hearts broken. So we found out that life wasn't gonna let us do that. And that it's impossible to shoot love out of your chest. However, I have shot love onto somebody's chest before.
Terrorists don't take black hostages. That's the truth. I have yet to see one of us on the news reading a hostage letter. They is treating us good. We all chilling and shit. I'd like to give a shout out to Ray Ray and Big Steve and Jensen Newport.
You're not gonna see it.
Terrorists are smart. They know what they're doing there, you know. They terrorists. They know black people's bad bargaining chips. They called the White House and said, hello? We have got 5 black... Hello?
Video cassette inside with a note written on it that said, gotcha. Can you imagine? I freaked out. I tore the whole house apart trying to find the VCR. I hadn't seen a tape in like over a decade. And I watched the tape and it was awful. They got me. It was a tape of me. I was fucking a girl, okay? But it was from before I was married. And I felt sick to my stomach. I looked up at the clock and then I saw my wife was coming home in 10 minutes and I just panicked. I jerked off to the tape real fast. And then not even a week later, 5 days later, I come home and there's another video cassette just sitting on my porch. As soon as I saw it, I just called the police like, they've done it again. You should probably look for a guy with bell bottoms on because I don't know who the fuck is sending tapes. And that second tape was the worst shit I'd ever seen in my life. It was awful. Career-ending bad. It was a tape of me jerking off to the tape a week earlier. I don't even know how they'd even get such a thing. She goes, suffering is suffering. What's the difference? I said, come on, white woman, you know what it is. You was in on the heist, you just don't like your cut. You suffer, I suffer. You suffer, I suffer. That's how it works. Can't do comparative suffering. If you're hungry and your friend says, you know, people are starving in Africa, so what, nigga? I still want lunch. Black people know about comparative suffering, and you know this is a fucking dead-end game. Blacks and Jews do that shit to each other all the time. You ever played Who Suffer More with a Jewish person?
It's a tough game. Whenever you think you got the Jewish guy on the ropes, that motherfucker will be like, well, don't forget about Egypt. Egypt? God damn, nigga, I didn't know he was going all the way back to Egypt.
I'm not saying I don't like police. I'm saying I'm just scared of them. Sometimes we want to call them too. Somebody broke into my house once. It's a good time to call them, but the house is too nice. It ain't a real nice house, but they never believe I lived it. Oh, he's still here. Open and shut case, Johnson. I saw this once before when I was a rookie. Apparently this nigger broke in and hung up pictures of his family everywhere. Well, let's sprinkle some crack on him and get out of here.
Tough time for the blacks. These are not good times for the blacks. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? Police are killing us again. Very unfortunate set of circumstances because we were doing very well. You know, America has a racial hot seat. I think we can all agree that that's the truth. And we can also agree that that hot seat is traditionally occupied by African Americans in general, African American men in particular. Although I can see that in recent years, that seat has been occupied by Mexicans and I dare say Arabs. And we, the black Americans, would like to thank you both for your sacrifice and your struggle. We needed a break. We needed a goddamn break. We all go through something, but at least I can leave my backpack someplace. If you Arab and forget your backpack, you got about 20 minutes before they send that robot to blow your shit up. You can kiss all that engineering homework goodbye, Fuhad.
Early voting. And when I parked my car, I understood that Donald Trump was going to be our next president. Because in Ohio, unlike D.C., you could see the results in the parking lot. Saw these goddamn pickup trucks and tractors and shit. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these were the poor whites. I must tell you, I've never had a problem with white people ever in my life. But full disclosure, the poor whites are my least favorites. But I felt sorry for them. I know the game now. I know that rich white people call poor white people trash. And the only reason I know that is because I made so much money last year, the rich whites told me they say it at a cocktail party. And I listened to them. I listened to them say naive, poor white people things. Man, Donald Trump's gonna go to Washington and he's gonna fight for us. I'm standing there thinking in my mind, you dumb motherfucker. You are poor. He's fighting for me.
Mr. Chappelle, we had to arrest your friend. He refused to take our breathalyzer test. I said, that motherfucker. So, officer, what's gonna happen to me? Well, you're fine. We're just gonna have to ask you to step out of the car so we can impound the vehicle and we'll arrange for you to have a ride home. Nah, I would rather you just give me the keys. They said, Mr. Chappelle, your friend already told us he's your designated driver. We can't let you drive in this condition. I was like, nah, nigga, I'm good. I'm good. Suddenly the shit turned into Vegas. I'll let you blow for it. I said, excuse me? He said, if you blow in my breathalyzer. I said, oh, nigga, I thought you was trying to get your dick sucked. If you blow in my breathalyzer and pass, I'll give you the keys to the car. I said, set him up, nigga, let's play. And I blew in that thing, and it made a noise. I said, uh-oh. And he looked at it, he said, well, Mr. Chappelle, I guess you're free to go. I said, I am. I didn't know that thing didn't pick up weed. I drove home on the 30 miles an hour.
Well, how about this? What if I lived in Austin and I had a white girlfriend? And me and my white girlfriend at home one night and we're just doing what lovers do. Maybe she's butt naked and she's down on one knee giving me a hand job. I love a good hand job. And she's really jerking me off. You know, getting her obliques nice and tight. I got a huge dick, so she's like, And I'm like, wow, this really feels wonderful. I think I'm gonna come. And then she looks up at me and goes, come in my face, nigger. I know, that's a tough one. But what do you think I'm gonna do? Hey! That's no time for integrity, ladies and gentlemen. I'm busting that nut in her face. But I'm what they call a man of his word. If I say I'm coming, oh, I'm coming. I don't give a fuck what happens. God forbid somebody could shoot me. If I say I'm coming, it's still like, oh. And as soon as I open my car door, I hear a voice go, David Chappelle. I didn't even have to look. I knew it was her. And I looked back, and sure enough, there she was, that face. To be honest with you, she probably wasn't even that old. She's probably around my age. But she was a white woman. This bitch looked terrible. I was nice. I said, hello, miss. And she didn't say anything back. All she said was, I watch your comedy. I said, uh-oh. Hey, that. I know what it's like to have a cold house. I wasn't allowed to touch the thermostat growing up without asking my father. And it would be fucking freezing in the house. I'd be like, Dad, please, can I please just turn the heat up to like, I don't know, 32, nigga? It's really cold. And my dad would say, just put more clothes on, David. Got all three of my outfits on, nigga. When you look at me, I'm freezing up here. And he said, just don't think about how cold you are, David. And I said this, I didn't say it to him, but I said it in front of him so he could hear it. I said, I fucking hate being poor. And my dad got really upset. He didn't scream or holler, that wasn't his way. He just threw his newspaper on the floor and he said, David, 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 you are not poor. He said, poor is a mentality. He said it's a mentality that very few people ever recover from. Don't you forget it, son. You are broke.
You'll be walking down the street and you'll see like a group of black dudes walking. Not just any old black dudes, we talking, you know, thugs. There'll be some thugs. And in a group they got like one or two, sometimes as many as 3 white guys will be with them. You ever seen this shit? Well, let me tell you something about those white guys. Those white guys are the most dangerous motherfuckers in them groups. It's true, man. It ain't no telling what they've done to get them black dudes respect. But them black dudes have seen them do some wild shit, I'll tell you that. I've been trying to tell brothers that. Every group of brothers should have at least one white guy in it. I'm serious, for safety. Because when the shit goes down, somebody's gonna need to talk to the police. That's when that white friend comes in handy. Uh-oh, Ernie, you wanna get this one? Come on now, do something.
When Susan B. Anthony was having that meeting and Sojourner Truth's black ass showed up, all them white women asked Sojourner Truth not to speak. They didn't want to conflate the issues of women's rights and slavery. But you know how black bitches are. Sojourner Truth went up there anyway. She did a famous speech. She said, ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman? I supported the Me Too movement, but the whole time I thought that the way they handled that was stupid. They were doing shit like going to the Golden Globes, and all of them would be like, let's all go to the Golden Globes and wear black dresses. Bitch, that is not gonna work. You think Martin Luther King's gonna be like, I want everybody to keep riding the bus, but wear matching outfits? You gotta get off the bus and walk. And then I said something about it and working off to none of your pictures again. They were like, who is he to tell us anything? I'll tell you exactly who I am. I'm the one that got off the bus and left $50 million on the bus and walked.
I'd be scared to call 911 for anything, even if it's like a fire or anything. Because they tape those phone calls. I see the shows, they tape them, and then they play them on television. That's fucked up. What if I get killed? They start playing that 911 tape on the news, I'm dead, I can't explain myself to my buddies and shit. We watching the news. We have Reg Chapman on the scene. Reg, what's going on out there? Hi, Bob. Yes, we just got hold of a copy of Dave Chappelle's Frantic. 911 emergency call.
Hello, emergency. Help! Help, motherfucker, they're coming to get me! Just calm down, sir, where are you?
Oh, I shit on myself. I can't stop crying. They play that shit 30, 40 times a day. All my buddies will be at my funeral looking at me.
You know Dave shit on himself right before the
I saw it on the news. Died crying like a bitch.
The fourth time is not the funniest time, but it was the last time I'd see the juice. I was at the Kentucky Derby. It's a very long story. This is right after I quit Chappelle's show in spectacular fashion. There was a party hosted by Michael Jordan, and every athlete I'd ever admired was in that room. And then I saw a familiar face by the bar, standing there, drinking alone. It was Chris Tucker. You have to remember, at this time, we were both technically missing. And we went over and were talking with one another, and motherfuckers were amazed to see us together. Seeing me and Chris Tucker at that point would be like seeing Bigfoot riding a unicorn. You wouldn't believe that's what you were saying. And then, through all the gawkers, a familiar face pushed through the crowd. Here he was again, the Juice. He had his camera ready. He was like, Dave, Chris, good to see you guys. Hey, come on, guys, let's all get together for a picture. And at the same time, me and Chris were like, no. Can't do that. Sorry, Juice, my career's too flimsy to survive a picture with you.
Los Angeles, the world capital of rape and dick breath. The fuck has been going on out here? They got Charlie Rose today. It'll be a quiet morning on the news tomorrow. Charlie Rose, who's next? Captain Kangaroo? Everybody is raping like hotcakes. I, for one, am starting to get worried. You know, I've been in show business 30 years. I had no idea how much danger I was in. Harvey Weinstein's probably the first person that I ever looked at a photograph of and was like, yeah, he rapes. I'm not sure this motherfucker has a choice. Not a handsome man. A lot of meat and extra skin on his face. Yeah, he's ugly. You know, the sad part is, he's done so well in life, he probably doesn't know he's ugly. You know, when you're good looking, everybody will tell you, oh, you look wonderful, you're so great looking. But when you're ugly, you gotta figure that shit out for yourself. It's a lot of putting clues together through the years. Why am I not getting in the club? I got all the right shit on. It was Brad Pitt doing that shit. He wouldn't have heard a peep. The girl would just come back down like, I got the part.
Then I realized, I looked up what Kevin made on Google. I couldn't believe that shit. Kevin is the first comedian that a Drake song could be about. Kevin could walk around his house and sing All Me, and the whole song would still be true. Got everything, I got everything. I cannot complain, I don't even know how much I really made. I forgot, it's a lot. Fuck that, never mind what I got. And his wife be like, Kevin, come to bed. He'd be like, ho, shut the fuck up. I got way too much. You know how much money you have to tell a girl to shut the fuck up? I have quiet please money at best. I'd have to take a loan out for shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, that's Jay-Z money. And Beyonce got, no, you shut the fuck up.
3 a.m. with Mr. Weinstein. Hey, Harvey, I got your text. I'm here to talk about the script. Seems like it's gonna be hard to read in candlelight, but I guess I could try. It sounds like a fucking nightmare. Could you imagine that shit? Could you imagine if you was in a business meeting and a motherfucker pulled their dick out in the middle of the meeting? I'd be like, yo, my man, this is the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen in all my days. Just let me finish, Dave Chappelle. I'll put you in all 3 Lord of the Rings. Hurry up, nigga. I have other meetings tonight. I have a 4:30 a.m. at Brett Ratner's house, and I believe it's wardrobe fitting.
I saw him as soon as I came out, the juice. But I did my show. Show went great. I said, good night, everyone. They all said, yay! And I didn't say nothing to OJ, but I just gave him the signal, let him know I knew he was there. And I walked into the green room, and OJ was already in there. I was scared. And then my friends came in, and we all started talking. We sat down on the couch. And I'm just telling you what I saw with my own eyes. You can believe me or not believe me. But in my experience, OJ Simpson, one of the nicest men I'd ever met. He was nice to me. He was nice to my friends. The conversation was filled with warmth and levity, humor, and wisdom. We talked for 90 minutes, and then suddenly the Juice said, you know what? I've got to be going. But it's good to see you again. And I'm glad things went so well. I said, thanks, Juice. And my friend said, yeah, goodbye, Mr. Juice. They're new to the game. He said, no, thank you for your hospitality. Good night, guys. And we said, good night. And he just walked out of the room. And as soon as the door closed, we all looked at each other like, that nigga did that shit. I could feel like murder in the room.
And I didn't even know it was happening, but I guess I became like a feminist in the last 3 weeks because I can't watch porn the same. Like I watch it sometimes, but I can't click on these motherfucking thumbnails, not with those titles. Guy crams young girl in the ass with hard right. I can't click on that. Come on, nigga, give me something I can click on. Dude gets sucked off by a midget. Little person, I say to myself. Takes me hours to find one clip. What the hell is this? Marginally groomed feminist enjoys consensual sex with vaguely homosexual guy with penis the same color as mine. Click.
There I was, now a young man of probably 23. OJ Simpson was the most famous or infamous face on planet Earth. I was in a restaurant in Beverly Hills with my agents. I wasn't alone in the restaurant, but I was alone. I was the only black person. And in the 90s, that felt very uncomfortable. Now I tend to enjoy it at this age. And suddenly, a group of women walked by. Every race was in that group. Black, white, Asian, Latina, white, and white again. And then, close behind was OJ Simpson, newly released from jail. I was shocked. I didn't mean to say it out loud, but it just came out. OJ! He stopped, saw my black face, and correctly assumed it was me. He leaned over all the white people I was having dinner with and shook my hand. He looked in my eyes, and I could see in his eyes that he didn't remember meeting me the first time. And I looked back at my agents, and all of them had nothing short of disgust. And the only one with the courage to voice their disgust was a woman named Sharon. How could you shake hands with that murderer? I said, Sharon, that murderer ran for over 11,000 yards. A couple of weeks ago, I was supposed to be in Flint, Michigan for a charity benefit that was supposed to raise awareness for the appalling condition of the water in Flint. I don't know if you know this, but the water in Flint is fucking poisonous. It's actually making people sick. So a lot of black celebrities flew into Flint and they did a tremendous charity benefit, and I was on the schedule to appear. Right, I know. So I was on my way to the airport to go to Flint, and then Chris Rock calls me and is like, hey, Dave, I got a ticket for you for the Oscars. Can you make it? And I was like, sure, nigga, I'm on my way to the airport right now. Oh, come on, man. What am I gonna do about that water? What am I, a fucking superhero? I need to have fun. I need to live too. I didn't fuck that water up. Stevie Wonder was there. They didn't need me. I'm sorry, everybody. I'd never been to the Oscars. You've seen the movies I make. I was at home and my son busted and he said, Dad, I need $250. He's only 12 years old, so I freaked out. What's going on, nigga? Somebody trying to kill you? He said, no. Kevin Hart's coming to town and I wanted to see his show. I said, well, how much are the tickets? He said, they're $125. I said, God damn, mine are only $80. I said, well, why do you need $250 then? He goes, because I want to go with you, Dad, please. And there it is. So I took him to the show. The lights go down and one opening act after another goes on. Then Kevin takes the stage. Crowd goes fucking nuts. Thousands of people. I was furious. The longer the show went on, the madder I got. Because his show was fucking outstanding. It was maddening. These people were fucking holding their stomachs. My son was slapping his knee. I'm like, nigga, I do this too.
There's too many ethical questions when men do that. Like, can a gynecologist lose their license for smelling their fingers during an exam? Is that illegal? It's like if you have a good barbecue, you don't even think about it. You just...
And then the guy from the club came up and was like, hey, OJ Simpson's here, and he said he wants to meet you. I said, what? Fuck yeah. I ran down the steps, and OJ was down there. He's like, hey, yo, man, how are you? It's very good to meet you, and you're doing really good work, and I hope good things happen for you in your life. I was like, man, thanks, Mr. Juice. Standing beside him, well, I don't know the nice way to say this, his soon-to-be slain wife. Ladies and gentlemen, man the fuck up, or you're not gonna make it through the end of this show. Just man the fuck up. She's dead. You already know. We know what happened. We don't know who did it, but we know what happened. I should tell you that woman was very nice to me. She actually embraced me. She said, I think you're adorable. And she hugged me. She goes, good luck to you. And she held me for a long time. And I whispered in her ear, bitch, are you trying to get us both killed?
You know, I was in Santa Fe the other night and a motherfucker threw a banana peel at me. Yeah, that didn't feel so good. Of course, it was a white person. Not to indict the whites, I'm just saying. Not the profile. And then not only did he throw a banana peel at me, but it was premeditated. You could tell. You could tell the peel was too brown, you know what I mean? It was like, he didn't eat that banana recently, motherfucker. You had that shit waiting on me. And the whole crowd was white, so it just got instantly creepy, and everyone looked like they were looking at 12 Years a Slave or something. They were all just like, who the fuck does that? And then they arrested the guy, which was... I said, someone's gonna fuck you in the butt in the holding cell, you know that, right? Can't just be throwing banana peels at Dave Chappelle. They're not gonna let you get away with this.
If Making a Murderer was about a black dude, that shit would be called Duh. Of course everything can go wrong. Seems like he did it all right. The motherfucker even had $200,000 for his legal defense. That should get you off in Wisconsin. That's like OJ money. All he needed to get off that he didn't have was a single black juror. That's all it would have took. Because only a black dude in the United States can look at 11 other dudes and be like, I think the police did this shit. That's how OJ got off. I've been watching that new OJ show. I can't get enough of that shit. Doesn't it bring back good memories?
And there was a couple in the front row, beautiful couple. The wife was obviously Asian. You could see it in her face. The husband, this motherfucker was mysterious, to say the least. Couldn't quite pinpoint where he was from. Caramel-colored fella, very nice hair, but he could have been from anywhere. Bangladesh, Mexico. I can't guess with a nigga like this. All I knew for sure about this guy is that his wife was a bitch. I could see that in her face, too. No, he was laughing and having a good time, and she was scowling at me at a goddamn comedy show. I couldn't figure it out. And then I realized at some point that she was pregnant, and I was smoking on stage. I said, oh my God, that's probably why she's mad. So I started to put my cigarette out, but then she hit me with one of them fake non-smoker calls. So I just kept smoking. I thought to myself, bitch, that baby will be fine, relax. This opioid crisis is a crisis. I see it every day. It's as bad as they say. Ruining lives, it's destroying families. Sadly, you know what it reminds me of? Seeing it reminds me of us. These white folks look exactly like us during the crack epidemic. You know, it's really crazy to see. And all this shit they talk about on the news about how divided the nation is, I don't believe it. I feel like nowadays we're getting a real good look at each other. It's wild because I even have insight into how the white community must have felt watching the black community go through the scourge of crack, because I don't care either. Hang in there, whites. Just say no. What's so hard about that? And I tried to break the tension. I just asked her. That's all I said. I go, hey, where are you guys from anyway? And I could tell that she was on to me. She goes, very condescendingly, she says, I'm from California. If you're asking my ethnicity, I am Chinese. And her husband was just cool about the shit. He was like, I'm Mexican, bro. I said, well, I'm sorry if I offended you by asking, but you're a very beautiful couple. And miss, there's no question that you're gonna give birth to the hardest working baby this world has ever seen. That's not a bad joke. She got very upset. She got up to leave immediately, but she didn't just leave. She had to take one last dig at me on the way out. I will never buy one of your fucking DVDs again, Dave Chappelle. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, Chinese people don't buy DVDs. Jussie Smollett is a very famous French actor. He was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. You see, Jussie Smollett is gay and he is black, not just French. When he was walking down the street late at night, two white men came out of the shadows with MAGA hats on and beat him up. Tied a rope around his neck, called him all kinds of niggas, and put some bleach on him and ran off into the night. The whole country was up in arms. He was talking about it all the time on the news. And for some reason, African Americans, we were like oddly quiet. We were so quiet about this shit that the gay community started accusing African American community of being homophobic for not supporting him. What they didn't understand is that we were supporting him with our silence, because we understood that this nigga was clearly lying. Now ISIS is #1 on the terrorist chart, and ISIS is fucking scary. Because if ISIS catches you, they're going to cut your head off. That's what they do. I've seen them do it on YouTube. It was fucking awful. He looked right in the camera and say, Obama, I am back. I saw that shit, I said, oh my God. Don't like. How is this guy cutting people's heads off on YouTube? I can't even post a dick pic, and this motherfucker is decapitating people. I'm gonna have to change my settings. And she said, class, the space shuttle is taking off, and we're all gonna watch it take off. Man, that shit was going great for like 3 to 5 minutes. That's right, you remember, it fucking exploded. Right on television. Everybody on board, dead, immediately presumed dead. It was so bad, the teacher looked at all the kids and was like, you can go home. It's a goddamn national tragedy. This was Cold War America. The Russians were laughing at us. My point is, for a guy your age wouldn't even know the pain, because in your generation, it's like the space shuttle blows up every fucking day. How can you care about anything when you know every goddamn thing? I'm getting over one cop shooting, and then another one happens, and then another one happens, and another one happens. I'm crying about Paris, and then Brussels happens. I can't keep track of all this shit, so you just give the fuck up. That's the hallmark of your generation, and that's fucked up because your generation lives in the most difficult time in human history. I'd like to start by addressing the LGBTQ community directly. And I want every member of that community to know that I come here tonight in peace, and I hope to negotiate the release of the baby. Sad, sad, sad story. The baby was the #1 streaming artist until about a couple weeks ago. He took a nasty spill on God damn the baby. He pushed the button, punched the LGBTQ community right in the AIDS. A lot of the LGBTQ community doesn't know the baby's history. He's a wild guy. He once shot a nigga and killed him in Walmart. Nothing bad happened to his career. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a nigga, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
So black people are very afraid of the police. That is a big part of our culture. Don't matter how rich you are, how old you are. You know what I mean? Like, you're a white lady. You ever been pulled over before? You know, and then what they say, let me see your driver's license and your registration, right? See, I'm just guessing. That's not what they say to us. You wouldn't believe what they say to us.
Spread your cheeks and lift your sack.
Like, what the fuck? Excuse me?
You heard me. Spread open your cheeks and lift your sack.
I got a driver's license too. There's easier ways to prove who I am and shit. What does that prove? I can't go to the bank like that. Cash my check. What do you mean you don't have any ID? Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chappelle. Right this way. Why didn't you spread your cheeks in the beginning?
Every relationship, there's the person that does the dishes and the person that lets them soak, right? They don't let them soak. They know you're gonna do them. They're just waiting you out. And after a while, you can't fucking take it anymore. They're just sitting there. You gotta go out and you start doing it. And then what do? They sit in the other room and they wait like they don't know what you're doing. And they wait till they hear pots and pans. And that's when the show starts. That's when they come running in like, what? Oh, I was gonna do those. What? And you're like, no, you weren't. They've been sitting there for 8 hours. I got my hands in room temperature waters with scrambled eggs floating around. Don't gaslight me. You're a fucking animal. You were raised by animals. Get out of my sight. Don't yell at me.
And then the guy from the club came up and was like, hey, OJ Simpson's here, and he said he wants to meet you. I said, what? Fuck yeah. I ran down the steps, and OJ was down there. He was like, hey, yo, man, how are you? It's very good to meet you, and you're doing really good work, and I hope good things happen for you in your life. I was like, man, thanks, Mr. Juice. Standing beside him, but I don't know the nice way to say this, his soon-to-be slain wife. Ladies and gentlemen, man the fuck up or you're not gonna make it through the end of this show. Just man the fuck up. She's dead, you already know, we know what happened. We don't know who did it, but we know what happened. I should tell you that woman was very nice to me. She actually embraced me. She said, I think you're adorable. And she hugged me, she goes, good luck to you. And she held me for a long time. And I whispered in her ear, bitch, are you trying to get us both killed? There I was, now a young man of probably 23. OJ Simpson was the most famous or infamous face on planet Earth. I was in a restaurant in Beverly Hills with my agents. I wasn't alone in the restaurant, but I was alone. I was the only black person. And in the 90s, that felt very uncomfortable. Now I tend to enjoy it at this age. And suddenly, a group of women walked by. Every race was in that group. Black, white, Asian, Latina, white, and white again. And then, close behind was OJ Simpson, newly released from jail. I was shocked. I didn't mean to say it out loud, but it just came out. OJ! He stopped, saw my black face, and correctly assumed it was me. He leaned over all the white people I was having dinner with and shook my hand. He looked in my eyes, and I could see in his eyes that he didn't remember meeting me the first time. And I looked back at my agents, and all of them had nothing short of disgust. And the only one with the courage to voice their disgust was a woman named Sharon. How could you shake hands with that murderer? I said, Sharon, that murderer ran for over 11,000 yards. I saw him as soon as I came out, the juice. But I did my show. Show went great. I said, good night, everyone. They all said, yay! And I didn't say nothing to OJ, but I just gave him the signal, let him know I knew he was there. And I walked into the green room, and OJ was already in there. I was scared. Then my friends came in, and we all started talking. We sat down on the couch, and I'm just telling you what I saw with my own eyes. You can believe me or not believe me. But in my experience, OJ Simpson, one of the nicest men I'd ever met. He was nice to me. He was nice to my friends. The conversation was filled with warmth and levity, humor, and wisdom. We talked for 90 minutes, and then suddenly the Juice said, you know what? I've got to be going, but it's good to see you again, and I'm glad things went so well. I said, thanks, Juice. And my friend said, yeah, goodbye, Mr. Juice. They're new to the game. He said, no, thank you for your hospitality. Good night, guys. And we said, good night. And he just walked out of the room. And as soon as the door closed, we all looked at each other like, that nigga did that shit. I could feel like murder in the room. The fourth time is not the funniest time, but it was the last time I'd see the juice. I was at the Kentucky Derby. It's a very long story. This is right after I quit Chappelle's show in spectacular fashion. There was a party hosted by Michael Jordan, and every athlete I'd ever admired was in that room. And then I saw a familiar face by the bar, standing there, drinking alone. It was Chris Tucker. You have to remember, at this time, we were both technically missing. And we went over and were talking with one another, and motherfuckers were amazed to see us together. Seeing me and Chris Tucker at that point would be like seeing Bigfoot riding a unicorn. You wouldn't believe that's what you were seeing. And then, through all the gawkers, a familiar face pushed through the crowd. Here he was again, the Juice. He had his camera ready. He was like, Dave, Chris, good to see you guys. Hey, come on, guys, let's all get together for a picture. And at the same time, me and Chris were like, no. Can't do that. Sorry, Juice, my career's too flimsy to survive a picture with you. And for the first time, there was a new school of thought that was chemically induced that made people question the very society they lived in. By 1960, the President of the United States was only 42 years old. Can you imagine? DMX is older than that. And he was gonna usher in a new era of peace. He was gonna avoid the Cold War. He was gonna end segregation. And they blew his fucking brains out in front of everyone in Dallas. This country was never the same. There were 7 more major assassinations in the 60s. Anyone that stood up and said anything was shot down in the streets like a fucking dog. Kennedy, King, X, Evers, on and on. You didn't even have to be famous. You could be a college student at Kent State or in Mississippi protesting the Vietnam War, and they shot them too. The 70s were a wild era, and while all this was going on, Bill Cosby raped 54 people.
Oh my God, she's right. Right there in the kitchen is a heroin-addicted white, and he's digging through the change jar by the door. I worked really hard for that change. I gotta do something. So first, I wrapped the shotgun. Hey, motherfucker, click-clack. That click-clack sound will stop a rational human being in their tracks. But sure enough, this person is not rational. They're sick on drugs. They're digging in the change. I gotta act fast. This nigga's almost got $1.50. I warned you, Berkshire. And there it goes. Hot BBs will permeate his yellow heroin skin. Remember, I'm not killing him. I'm just peppering him up nice. He lets out a heroin scream. Don't. I'm not for it, but I'm not against it either. It all depends on who I get pregnant. I don't care what your religious beliefs are or anything. If you have a dick, you need to shut the fuck up on this one. The right to choose is their unequivocal right. Not only do I believe they have the right to choose, I believe that they shouldn't have to consult anybody. Gentlemen, that is fair. And ladies, to be fair to us, I also believe if you decide to have the baby, a man should not have to pay. That's fair. If you can kill this motherfucker, I can at least abandon him. It's my money, my choice. And Bill Maher, the famous comedian, I've known Bill since I was like 18, 19 years old, and I've never said this publicly, but fuck that guy. These motherfuckers act like because I did a comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, I somehow betrayed my principles. Well, no, I know I didn't. I know. No. No, come on, everybody, let me do this. And I'm sure, I know, everybody calm down. Now, I'm sure I'm right. First of all, what did they say? They said, Saudi Arabia killed a journalist, and rest in peace, Jamal Khashoggi. I'm sorry that he got murdered in such a heinous fashion, but, and no buts, like, period, and also, I mean, look, bro, Israel's killed 240 journalists in the last 3 months, so I didn't know y'all was still counting. The fear that I have for myself that I need you to protect me from is co-option. My voice has become more powerful than I intended it to be. And I cannot let these do me like Charlie Kirk, or even worse than that. What if these trip me up somehow, co-opt me, and then make me say the things that they want me to say? Well, we can't have that. So, just in case, we need a code. It's gotta be something that I can say so that if I say it, you know that these got me. And don't listen to nothing that I say after I say those words. But don't tell anybody what it is, but it's gotta be something that, you know what I mean, that I would never say. Oh, I know what the code is. The code word is, I stand with Israel. Thank you very much, and good night.
Kevin is the first comedian that a Drake song could be about. Kevin could walk around his house and sing All Me, and the whole song would still be true. I don't even know how much I really made. I forgot. It's a lot. Fuck that, never mind what I got. And his wife be like, Kevin, come to bed. He'd be like, ho, shut the fuck up. You know how much money you have to tell a girl to shut the fuck up? I have quiet please money at best. I'd have to take a loan out for shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, that's Jay-Z money. And Beyonce got, no, you shut the fuck up.
I was on stage not long ago in the States and niggas got mad because I said, well, you know, maybe Puff will get off. And I said, I hope so. And the crowd was like, boo. Look, it's not that I think Puff is right, but when I got attacked in LA at the Hollywood Bowl, people forget Puff was the guy that tackled my attacker. He saved my life. It's a hard nigga to be mad at after that. I had security that night, but you know what I mean? They just wasn't ready. Them niggas had some slippery shoes on or something. They ran out. All them niggas slipped and fell, and Puffy got my attacker and tackled him. And then years later, when I heard about that baby oil, I was like, what did those niggas slip on? I was in the Middle East years ago. After I quit my show, I was trying to find out what I wanted to do with my life. And while I was there, Jimmy Carter flew to Israel. So everybody in the region was talking about a former American president being in the Middle East. And while he was in Israel, a book of his was released, and its title was very controversial in Israel. And the title of the book was Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. And people were very mad in Israel. There was a lot of mean stories that came out in the paper, but some people were supportive. And while he was there, Jimmy Carter said, I want to go to the Palestinian territory. And the Israeli government said it's too dangerous. And if you go, we cannot protect you. And man, Jimmy Carter went anyway. I will never forget the images of a former American president walking with little to no security while thousands of Palestinians were cheering him on. And when I saw that picture, it brought tears to my eyes. I said, I don't know if that's a good president, but that right there, I am sure, is a great man. It made me feel very proud. Please, do better next time. Please, all of us, do better next time. Do not forget your humanity, and please have empathy for displaced people, whether they're in the Palisades or Palestine. Thank you very much. And good night. I've been to Puffy's house. No, I didn't see none of the stuff they said in that trial. I walked to that nigga's living room. House was clean, traction on the floor, nothing slippery. Perfectly normal evening. We was on his back patio. We was drinking and laughing, talking, and then nigga Puff starts swirling his drink like this. And he goes, so Dave, what are you into? You know me, I was like, I don't know, nigga, books, video games. I didn't know there was my big chance to fuck Cassie. I grew up around Jewish people. I have a lot of Jewish friends. So I'm not freaked out by your culture. I know a little bit about it just from hanging around. I'd be like, yo, let's go out at school tomorrow. They'd be like, we can't go out. It's Shanana tomorrow. I'd be like, where? What is Shanana? I had so many questions. Why do some of your people dress like Run DMC? I'm not making light of Charlie Kirk dying, but I'm not sure what it means. And the whites were quick to say this: Charlie Kirk is this generation's Martin Luther King. No, he's not. That's a reach. They both got murdered in a terrible fashion. They both got shot in the neck, but that's about where those similarities end. Charlie Kirk is a motherfucking internet personality. Fundamentally, he can't function like Dr. King. Internet niggas are negative because they have to be. Because nobody will engage them unless they say shit that makes them upset. That's Charlie Kirk. Could you imagine Dr. King was behaving like Charlie Kirk? Smash that like button and subscribe. Follow me for more content like this. I believe all black people should be free. Change my mind.
You know, I'm gonna give you a history lesson. The picture is the early 50s in the United States. This 14-year-old boy goes down from Chicago to Mississippi to meet his extended family for the first time. And before he went, his mother said to him, if a white man looks you in your eyes in Mississippi, look away. And I don't know what you know about black people from Chicago, but they're not a scared people. And legend has it, he was in front of a convenience store hanging out with his cousins, having a good time, and a white woman walked out of the store, and he thought she was pretty, and he said, bye, baby, not realizing that he had just made a fatal mistake. 4 days later, a group of adult white men burst into this family's home and snatched a 14-year-old boy out of bed in front of his family that was powerless to stop them, and he was never seen alive again. His name was Emmett Till. They found his body maybe a few days later. It was in a creek tied to a wheel so it would sink, horribly beaten and bloated. Hideous. And lucky for everybody in America, his mother was a gangster. In the very midst of a mother's worst nightmare, this woman had the foresight to think about everybody. She said, leave my son's casket open. She said, the world needs to see what they did to my baby. And every publication here in the United States, from Jet Magazine all the way to the New York Times, had this boy's horribly bloated body on its cover. This was a very definitive moment in American history where every thinking and feeling person was like, ugh, we gotta do better than this. And they fought beautifully, and here we all are. And the reason that I bring that up tonight was because less than a year ago, the woman that he allegedly whistled at admitted on her deathbed that she lied in her court testimony. And you can imagine when we read that shit, we was like, ooh, you lying ass bitch. But that was my initial reaction. And initial reactions that we all learned as we get older are often wrong or more often incomplete. They call this phenomenon standing too close to an elephant. The analogy being that if you stand too close to an elephant, you can't see the elephant. All you see is its penis-like skin. Time goes on, and then after time, you can kind of see the whole elephant, and it's humbling because you realize that this woman lied, and that lie caused the murder. But that murder set in motion a sequence of events that made my wonderful life possible, that made this very night possible. How could this be that this lie could make the world a better place? It's maddening. And if that woman that said that heinous lie was alive today, I would thank her for lying. And then I would kick her in the pussy.
I used to be mad at white people when I was young because I thought they were unfair. Now that I have all this property, I understand them. It's fun. Feels good to walk up to white people like, are you supposed to be here? Calling the police. I own so much property in this town, and this is true. These white people think I'm responsible for their well-being. I be walking down the street minding my own business, and they come up to me with their concerns. Dave, congratulations on buying the whole goddamn town. But you need to start thinking about some affordable housing around here. And I'll be like, well, actually, champ, I can afford my house. That sounds like some shit you need to worry about. Because if I think about it, I can afford your house too. So if you want to sell, come holler at your boy. I'm collecting the whole town. I'm collecting the whole goddamn town.
I have a great reputation in show business, but in comedy, I'm what's known as a lazy comedian, which is crazy because I work all the time, but that's not why they call me lazy. They call me lazy because I do shows sometimes, 20,000 people be in the crowd. And I'll tell a joke, and they'll all look at me like I'm crazy. But 3 or 4 people will laugh really hard. And I'll be on stage like, yeah, that's good enough.
I love hip-hop music. I love many of the people that make that music. They taught me things and showed me things that I'd never seen for myself. Good things. For example, I was in Atlanta
And a rapper named T.I. called me up. Now, at this time, I didn't know him well. I know him better now, but I knew him well enough that he'd have my phone number. And then he called me up. He was like, Dave, I heard you was in my city. He said, I want to show you the real Atlanta. I said, yeah, let's go. He said, meet me downstairs in your hotel valet. So I went downstairs. I thought he was around, but when I went down there, he was outside in the valet, sitting in a purple Phantom. This car must have been $1.5 million. Beautiful purple color with ivory white seats. It's the kind of car that you got to have a chauffeur to drive, but for some reason, this was driving it himself. And I didn't ask no questions. I just jumped in the car, and man, he showed me Atlanta, everything. Outkast and them started rapping over there, and Future used to play in the playground over here, and then he sold the car up and he pointed to a house and he goes, and Martin Luther King grew up in that house right there, and he raised his children over here, and that's the church he preached in over there. And then we stopped at a red light, and these little black kids rushed the car from either side of the intersection. These kids in Atlanta, if you know, they're called the Water Boys. Their whole hustle is they sell water to people who are stuck in that hot Atlanta traffic. I didn't know that. I just saw these young running up on the car, so I locked the door like that. T.I. rolled his window down, started giving the kids orders. Slow down, don't just run up on somebody's car. You don't know what they got in there. And smile so you look less threatening. And remember your manners. Yes, sir, no ma'am, please, thank you. That'll keep you alive. And keep that condensation on that water so it looks refreshing and delicious. And then that kid realized that he was talking to a legend. He said, oh my God. He said, thanks, T.I., and held his hand out for some money. And that T.I. looked at him and said, I done gave you the game, and rolled up the window and drove away.
You suffer, I suffer. You suffer, I suffer. That's how it works. Can't do comparative suffering. If you're hungry and your friend says, you know, people are starving in Africa, so what, nigga? I still want lunch. Black people know about comparative suffering, and you know this is a fucking dead-end game. Blacks and Jews do that shit to each other all the time. You ever played Who'd Suffer More with a Jewish person? It's a tough game. Whenever you think you got the Jewish guy on the ropes, that motherfucker will be like, well, don't forget about Egypt. Egypt? God damn, nigga, I didn't know he was going all the way back to Egypt.
And as soon as I open my car door, I hear a voice go, David Chappelle. I didn't even have to look, I knew it was her. And I looked back and sure enough, there she was, that face. To be honest with you, she probably wasn't even that old. She's probably around my age. But she was a white woman. This bitch looked terrible. I was nice, I said, hello, miss. And she didn't say anything back. All she said was, I watch your comedy. I said, uh-oh. And then she says, is it true? She goes, it sounds to me like you hate women. I said, well, you know what, miss? It's art. And you're free to interpret this art however you'd like. But I can tell you, as the maker of this art, that I don't believe that I feel that way. And she said, well, I think, and I said, shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Before I kill you and put you in the trunk, ain't nobody around here. I'm just kidding, I didn't say that. But my wife's not Chinese. She's Filipino. That's right. And our kids are Puerto Rican somehow, so there you go. I don't give a fuck about interracial marriage. In fact, you know what? My mother is half white. A lot of people don't know that. Well, all right, you were a little too excited, but okay. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but it's true. You can't tell looking at me, but if I grew my hair out, you would think you was at a fucking Cat Williams concert. My shit is beautiful. A lot of people think I'm from the hood. That's not true. But I never bothered to correct anybody because I wanted the streets to embrace me. Like sometimes I'll hang out with rappers like Nas and them, and these motherfuckers will start talking about the projects. Yo, it was wild in the PJs, yo. And I'll be like, word, nigga, word. But I don't know. I have no idea.
My parents did just well enough so that I could grow up poor around white people. And to be honest, when Nas and them talk about the projects, I used to get jealous because it sounded fun. Everybody in the projects was poor, and that's fair. But if you were poor in Silver Spring, nigga, it felt like it was only happening to you. Nas does not know the pain of that first sleepover at a white friend's house. You come back home on Sunday and just look at your parents like, y'all need to step your game up. Everything at Timmy's house works. When I quit Chappelle's show, the hardest part about it, not the hardest, but a hard part about it, was that I had to watch the world go on without me. And after some time, I got used to it. And one day, my son came home and was looking at me like I was crazy. And I said, what does that look in your face? And he said, Kevin Hart just said in an interview that you were one of the greatest comedians that ever lived. And I was like, yeah. But in my mind, I was like, he did? And I thought to myself, if I ever had a chance to honor you in front of your family, boy, I'll come running. Kevin, you make me dream bigger, you inspire me, and you remind me why I love the love of my life, this genre. The way you approach it is masterful, and you are one of the GOATs of the game. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Tough time for the blacks. These are not good times for the blacks. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? Police are killing us again. Very unfortunate set of circumstances because we were doing very well. You know, America has a racial hot seat. I think we can all agree that that's the truth. And we can also agree that that hot seat is traditionally occupied by African Americans in general, African American men in particular. Although I can see that in recent years, that seat has been occupied by Mexicans and I dare say Arabs. And we, the black Americans, would like to thank you both for your sacrifice and your struggle. We needed a break. We needed a goddamn break. We all go through something, but at least I can leave my backpack someplace. If you Arab and forget your backpack, you got about 20 minutes before they send that robot to blow your shit up. You can kiss all that engineering homework goodbye, Fuhad.
First I went on Facebook. I typed my name in. They were like, you cannot use celebrity names. I was like, word? So then I go on Twitter, and it's the same thing. It's like, oh, it's a fake Dave Chappelle. My name, my picture was not me. And it turned out, Jimmy, the guy was like hilarious. Like a week or two into it, he just turns evil. And he starts like tweeting all this stuff to comedians I work with and starts like a whole Twitter beef with this guy, Cat Williams. That Cat Williams starts saying things to this fake Dave Chappelle that's hurting the real Dave Chappelle's feelings. So I go to the comedy show and I see Kevin Hart there. I'm like, what's up, Kevin? And he's like, yo, man, Cat's here. Like I was in trouble or something. Like, what? So then I go over to Cat, and I'm like, yo, Cat, I gotta talk to you. I don't have a Twitter page. And he's like, so what, Dave Chappelle? He's like, what are you trying to say? And I'm like, I'm trying to say I don't have a Twitter page. He goes, so that's not unusual. I don't have a Twitter page either.
You don't understand why Trump was so popular, but I get it, because I hear it every day. It's because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. He's what I call an honest liar. That first debate, I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen a white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, this whole system is rigged, he said. And across the stage was a white woman, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, sitting over there looking at him like, no, it's not. I said, now wait a minute, bro. And the moderator said, well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, as you suggest, what would be your evidence? I know the system is rigged because I use it. I said, God damn. And then he pulled out an Illuminati membership card and chopped a line of cocaine up and did it right into the podium. And then Hillary Clinton tried to punch him in the taxes. She said, this man doesn't pay his taxes. He shot right back. That makes me smart. If you want me to pay my taxes, then change the tax code. But I know you won't, because your friends and your donors enjoy the same tax breaks that I do. And with that, my friends, a star was born. No one had ever seen somebody come from inside of that house, outside, and tell all the commoners, we are doing everything that you think we are doing inside of that house.
They just went right back in the house and started playing the game again. I even look at his wife different now. His wife is beautiful, no question about it, but she looks like the kind of chick that James Bond would smash but not trust.
New white people. You can't scare these white people. I tried. Roll up on them. Boo!
The hell is wrong with you? Those days are over.
My life. It's too much there to stress you out. This whole world's just drug-infested. Hate-infested, drug-infested world. Hate drugs. I heard the worst drug story. You know what my friend told me? You know what he's dealing with? His landlord is hooked on crack. That's terrible. That's pressure. If your landlord's hooked on crack, that means you've got to have the rent. You come around all the time. I got the rent. It's not even due yet. It's the 10th. Come on, I need it. Let me just get $20 of it now, and then just give me the rest of the month. Every couple hours. Hey, look, I'm gonna need some more of the rent. This building's falling apart. Things came up. Comes home early from a party. Landlord's in the crib going through his. What are you doing in my house? Ah! Where's the sink? I came to fix it. It's in the kitchen. I thought it was in the drawer. I'll fix it tomorrow when I come for the rent. You know what I hate about drugs? I hate when like people my age and older get hooked on crack. I hate that. You're too old to be experimenting with the drugs at a certain point. You should be past that. You ain't doing it by a certain point. You just miss it. Drugs are really for old people anyway. You 75, you've earned the right. If I was 75, I'd do coke, heroin, everything. I wouldn't give a. I'd be walking down the street, they'd be like, boy, that old man is tripping. Can't do everything. Maybe weed. If you're gonna do something, do a little weed. Smoke weed. Weed's not as bad as everything else. Weed is a background substance. You know what I mean? You can smoke some herb and still function. And you ain't crisp, but you'll function. Nothing higher than weed, though. I made that mistake one time. I was at a party, some guy gave me some. He's like, here, man, take this. It's mushrooms. I took it. I forgot all about it, you know. Then a couple days later, I found that in my pocket. I'm thinking, why not? Because I'm thinking it's like weed, some background. I planned my whole day out like it was weed. I'll chew this up. Then I'll go to the barber shop, get my hair cut, and then I'll see a movie. I chewed it up. So far, so good. Then I was in a barber shop, like an hour later. And it's funny, because I was just thinking to myself, I was like, ooh, this stuff sucks. Tastes like athlete's foot. I feel sick, but I'm not really high. Then I looked in the mirror. I saw the barber's reflection, man. It looked like a big penis was cutting my hair. I freaked out. I started talking to myself, Dave, calm down. You're on drugs. This is what drugs do. Okay, you know that there is no way that a penis can cut hair. But I started freaking out, man. I just couldn't take it anymore. I jumped out the chair, half my hair was cut, I didn't care. I didn't, I just gave a barber a handful of money. It was weird, the balls opened up. Anyway, I ran home, man. I ran home as fast as I could. It's tripping. I looked at the clock, it was 2:42. I was like, damn, 2:42. I gotta sober up. I had never been this high this early. I took a shower, I was still high. Said maybe music will do the trick. I listened to every CD I had, I was still high. Exercise, that's what I'll do. I ran around the block 4 times, still high. Took a nap, woke up, up. I looked at the clock, it was 2:43. I said, God damn. Who wrote this song? You know, this is our grandmother used to sing that when she cleaning up. That's a Negro spiritual. Black work song. Not everybody know about that. I know. See, white people, you guys might whistle when you work. You dig? But that's how you can tell what kind of work we're actually doing. I study that kind of I do. Anything that has to do with race. I read a little here, see a little there. And I travel. That's always good. Traveling has made me a racism connoisseur, if you will. You know, it's different from region to region. Anyone ever been down south? So you guys know what I'm talking about. And the racism down there is just, it's perfect. It's due to a perfection. It's comfortable, it's out in the open. There are no secrets in Mississippi. Everybody knows the deal. Morning, nigger. Morning, sir. Not up here. You hit the big cities, man, it's different. It's always a secret. And we should do like them. We should keep our out in the open, then a little. I mean, with limits. You don't want to say whatever comes to your mind. That might be a little much. White dude be walking down the street minding his business, and the brother walk up to him, hello, you white oppressor, you slave master rapist of Africa. Why, hello, my big lip spear chucking friend. Touche, hunky. So, Whitey, what did you do today, huh? Oppress a new land and make the people there Christians against their will? What did you do, fellow? Burn those big black lips on a crack pipe as you missed your job interview? Easy, Whitey, you're cutting deep. All this chit-chat has got me thirsty. If you will excuse me for a moment, I'm going to go to the Korean store and get something to drink. Ching-a-ling. Hello. You slanted-eyed, ruining the economy in our neighborhood by opening stores and taking the money out the community. Chink. Wow. Good afternoon, you browse around but never buy anything, suspicious looking nigga. After a while, that might be too much. But you can't help it. If you're an American, you're a racist. We brought up from the beginning to think in generalizations. We never look at the individual. We rarely look at the individual. I'm a racist. I know I'm a racist. You know how I know? The other day, I caught myself being racist against myself. There's so much going on, I got mixed up. Forgot whose team I was on. One time I was reading the paper, man, this story came on about this guy was suing a department store because they wouldn't let him play Santa Claus, you know, because he's black. And I was actually like relieved when a department store beat them. That's bad. But I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for the idea of a black Santa Claus, man. That would suck. So we wouldn't get our presents till the 28th, 29th.
Sorry I'm late, kids. Santa got caught up with some in Vegas. I had to sell some toys to get back, shit. Where them cookies at?
Y'all a great crowd, man. You are. I'm glad y'all came out, man. I'm nervous. I am. Not about the special. I hope this don't make me famous. You dig? I don't want to be famous. I want people to like me for who I am. Like famous dude, don't never know why people like them. That's why, like, if I ever make it, I'm gonna have to like test people. Like if I meet girls, I wear disguises when they first meet me, so they don't know who I am. And then like on the first date, I'll call myself, I'll pick you up right from work. And then I'll pick her up in a garbage truck. Just to see how she reacts. And she's like, wait a minute. Oh, do I look like garbage to you? I don't see no goddamn trash need to be picked up here. Get that goddamn truck off my block. Who do you think you are? That's when I take my mask off. Oh, David Chappelle. That's right, bitch. Thank you very much.